Okay, ready to jump straight in?
Yeah, why not?
Great. So I'm here with Darcy Long, the Newcastle's finest music mixer. I'm in the middle of a 5-day fast, so I've brought along something for you to enjoy, and I can watch you. Here's a nice cold beer.
What do we got here? A Bolter Cerveza.
And you can crack it open with that. So you can enjoy that while I'm absolutely
Thank you.
thinking about
Thank
food
you, my friend.
24/7.
Appreciate it.
So today, was it today you released a single or an album?
A single.
Single. What's your band name?
My punk band, Dead Mall. We put out the first single off our album that's coming out later this year.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've been working on it for nearly 2 years now. I think we started recording it in, would have been like February or March of 2022.
Yep.
So, yeah, we started then. Recorded the drums when we were in the middle of not having a drummer. So our other guitar player, Joe, recorded all the drums on the album, actually.
Yeah.
And then, so we did that, and then we went away for 5 nights up at Durham Recording Studios, which is like this cool studio up in the mountains near, I think the suburb Stanhope. It's like near Branxton.
Okay.
It's like 20 minutes out of Branxton. So, yeah, we did all the guitars and the bass there and like a couple other things.
Recorded it all there?
Recorded it there, and then...
Did you mix it here?
Mixed it here, partially at my house, and then when I moved into the room upstairs here, mixed it. And then we recorded all the vocals here too.
Great. So we're at Sawtooth Studios, and you done all the mixing here. So you work out of here as a mixer.
Yeah.
And you're the lead guitarist in 2 bands?
Yeah.
So which band released the single?
Dead Mall.
Dead Mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my other band, Lamphead, we put out an album last year. It's like what my tattoo here is,
Nice.
Lamphead.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, we put out our debut album last year, and then Dead Mall just today put out the single from our album that's coming out this year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
When you're recording or coming up and creating music, coming up with new songs with the band, what's the process like? Does someone come up with the lyrics first? Are you just gigging and kind of find a flow and then start, like you hear the song first and then find the lyrics?
I think like most bands, like I see this in producing as well, like most bands kind of have like 1 or 2 people that are the main visionary people. So like for Dead Mall, most of the songwriting is done by Joe, our other guitarist, but for Lamphead, it's always it's changing a lot, but it started with me and our drummer Damien.
Just pull that a little closer.
Yeah.
I can hear the gate coming in now.
So it started with me and our drummer Damien, but as the boys joined the band, like Joey and Liam, as they joined the band, they've over time contributed more ideas. And I think in both bands, and like I see this a lot when I'm producing other bands, like when it's good that there's a visionary that's kind of taking a bit of the lead in the creative direction of the project, but it's also good when they're open to other people's ideas. That's why, like, as a producer, it's, that's why it's so valuable to have a producer outside of the band. Like for me, I produce my own bands because I know how to record and all that. But if you're a band that doesn't have those skills, having someone outside of the band to have a fresh set of ears on it is so important.
Does it also just help with, like, I've always been curious about, I feel like lead singers get so much attention and focus, and like there's so many bands where people know the lead singer's name and they don't know the other players' names. And I just wonder, like, does the producer help with that dynamic of a band?
Like what do you mean to?
Like, if the lead, like, because I've shot a lot of music videos, and a lot of the times, like, the lead singer just kept having all the ideas, and they wanted to make sure that they always looked good, and it was all about them. And like, I guess a producer would make sure that it's more even and more like, well, you are the center of attention, but we've got to make sure we're getting coverage of these people, and like
for sure
they're being seen too, and just making sure like it's balanced a bit more.
Yeah, like a lot of the time when I'm producing sometimes there's a vocalist who wants to put on like, 7 harmonies on like a vocal, and it's like, whoa, like we've got to take a step back, and it's not all about the vocals, or like, you'll get a guitar player that wants to, that they've written these parts where when they're jamming together, they're not hearing it in the sense that like we're listening to music on playback through 2 speakers, right? They're just playing along, and it sounds good in the room to everyone, but then in the studio it's just crowding the mix, like it's taking away the focus from everything else. It's not serving I think producing is about realizing when something isn't serving the song. Like you can be an amazing musician. Like I often find like the best songwriters underplay at their ability level because they are serving the song rather than serving themselves and their technical abilities.
It's like in a film with like a cinematographer, for an example, and if the story's motoring along and we're going to put a shot of a sunset in, if the sunset's that pretty and that beautiful and people get pulled out of the story and go, wow, that's a really nice shot, look at that sunset. It might be beautiful cinematography and they've done an incredible job, but they haven't done the job for focusing on and telling the story that we're telling.
Yeah, like they're pushing it too far in that direction that it becomes nearly
it's that good it
jarring.
takes away.
Yeah.
That old saying, less is more.
100%. It's definitely like that in music production.
Yeah, nice. So you're a mixer. Explain to me what mixing is.
Mixing.
I know what it is, but I just think it might be good just for people to have better understanding.
Yeah. So mixing is, to me, mixing isn't editing. It's not editing. It's not recording. So you've got everything recorded, right? You've got like
all the tracks are down.
Drums, guitars, keyboards, vocals. All the tracks are down. You're arranging that in a way that these tracks in a way to convey an emotion in the song. So, like, if you've got a band that wants to, a lot of the time, if a band has like a really impactful message in the song, I will not mix it to a point where it sounds super overly polished and pristine. Like, I'll leave a bit of that raw edge in there because it feels real.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're going for like a pop song, let's get on the radio. Let's
crank up that auto tune.
Let's crank up the auto tune. Let's like layer on the drum samples. Let's put all the magic on it that we can. Let's make this pristine. Which sometimes the project calls for that. And there is a level of like leaving things raw, but if you leave something too raw, it just doesn't sound competitive. So it's this constant. When I'm mixing, it's this constant balance of like, is this polished enough that it sounds competitive on the radio and on Spotify next to other tracks? But is it too polished that it's taking away from the feeling of the song?
Is it serving the song?
Yeah. So like, I wouldn't mix a punk band to sound like super pristine because part of it's my taste as well. I wouldn't mix a punk band to sound super pristine and clear because I think that's part of the aesthetic of the genre. That's another thing too, like, pop, hip hop, like, polish it, like make it sound as good as you can. But, something like folk music, for example, is like vocal tuning, drum samples, any of that, like very minimal on like a folk song because that's all meant to sound like real. It's meant to sound like you're in the room with the person playing.
Yeah. What do you prefer to mix?
What do I prefer to mix? Like I love like punk and hardcore, and emo music, and then I do really love singer-songwriters and like folk music and that. Like, I think the singer-songwriter jobs a lot of the time, people come in and they're like, they kind of got like chords and lyrics and stuff and like melodies, but then there's a lot more free reign for me to create the other elements of the songs. So it's really enjoyable in that aspect because I nearly get to like write the song with them a bit more.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I don't even know what I was going to say. How's the beer going?
It's splendid, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Going down a treat.
I can almost taste it right now.
How is your fast going?
Yeah,
You're on
good.
What is it, day 5?
No, day 3.
Day 3.
Yeah, I'm a bit scattered.
What's
I
your?
feel like I'm on drugs, man. I feel like I'm on drugs. Like I'm full, just like everything's heightened.
Yeah.
Like my vision's not. It's not blurry, but it feels like intense. It feels there. Everything feels sharper.
Yeah.
And
like lights are hitting your eyes much more aggressively.
Yeah.
Do you have that like tired feeling in your eyes? Like,
well, I slept like shit last night. The first 2 nights were, I slept like a baby. Slept really good.
yeah.
And last night just was a pain in the ass.
So what's like? I've never really fasted before. Like, not if I'm being sick or like whatever. Like, have like a day fast, but not intentionally fasting.
Yeah.
What's your like? Why are you fasting basically?
I'm doing it mainly for one reason. So there's a state called autophagy. So when I think it's 16 hours in, your body goes into autophagy, and basically what that does is we all have like dead and cancerous cells inside us, and when you're in that state, your body starts eating them up.
Yeah.
So not only like I'm just having a general reset after Christmas and New Year's and all the alcohol and food I've consumed, it's nice just to reset going into the year, but that state specifically, I just kind of want to just do a couple of years just to keep on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard somewhere on a podcast there was a study done, and if you're over the age of 50, which I'm not, but if you're over the age of 50 and do 1 5-day fast in your life, you decrease your chances or your likeliness of getting Alzheimer's or cancer for the rest of your life by 80%.
Wow.
From 1 5-day fast.
Yeah, there's very significant numbers.
Fucking huge, bro.
So
imagine like having an 80% chance that you won't get cancer for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is not eat for 5 days.
I guess like the older you get as well, the more the effects you're feeling of fasting. Like I imagine you're probably pretty like fatigued as well.
No, I'm good. I'm not hungry at all.
Yeah.
At all. Energy's good. I'm in like deep ketosis or something now. So
yeah.
Awesome energy, but I'm kind of like skitzing. Like I just feel like I'm just on edge and
yeah.
Would
you say it's more of like a psychological effect you're feeling?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Everything just feels really heightened. I guess like if you go back to the caveman days, right now if I'm this hungry, I'd be like everything would be heightened so I can go and hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be more aware of my surroundings. If I can hear.
You're hearing the noises in the bushes.
Yeah.
From further away than you normally would because you're thinking there's an animal there you can go and catch it and eat it. Or, yeah.
It's funny, like, as much as it's weird, I'm loving it because I'm just laughing at myself in the scenarios, like how I'm feeling. But, it's interesting. So
I guess, like, if the older you get, obviously there's more benefits to doing it, but do you think there'd be, like, the side effects of fasting would be more intense?
Don't know. I'm definitely not an expert at all, so I don't know. But I think it's good. I think just generally it's always good.
Yeah.
I think if you do it safely, it's good. I think like a lot of people fast and then they'll have like, oh, but I'm drinking coffee. And it's like if you have over 20 calories, you break your fast. So your body's running off the fuel source of food and you're not putting food in.
Yeah.
And that's just like stress, just mega stress on the body. So you're going to eat and use that as a fuel source. And if you're going to fast, just completely fast. So just go water only.
Yeah.
I mean, there's juice cleansers and all this other stuff, but I just think this is my thought process is just do it properly. Go completely on water.
Yeah.
And then your body clicks over to burning fat, which is on your body as a fuel source. And that's why I'm revving because I'm just using a different fuel source.
Yeah.
And my body's not stressed in that. It's not in that stress state where it's like I've just broken it with a small food. So it's like, okay, we need more food now, and then I'm not giving it to it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Do you find, because you've done how many fasts have you done now?
A few.
Yeah. Do you find it gets easier or harder the more you do them?
Oh, you just go through. Oh, the more I do them.
Like, do you think
this? Because I know what I'm in for. This one's been heaps easier than my last 5 day. My last 5 day was, I think it might have been COVID or something. We were just sitting around. Me and my mate done it, and we were just sitting around, and time was slow, and watching the food channel. So we're watching this, and we're just hungry, and it was like torture, eh? Like we were just in the house. Yeah. But this one here, I guess I know what I was in for. I kind of adjusted my diet 2 weeks prior, so I went into it differently.
Yeah.
First day I wasn't really hungry, when normally the first day's the hardest because you're coming off your sugar and everything.
Yeah. So you kind of are preparing in the lead up, like, okay, I'm gonna eat less, like bad food and
sugars and stuff. Don't want that spike.
The more addictive qualities.
Just
of food.
eating heaps clean going into it.
Yeah,
it's been great. It's been really good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, it's weird because I know what's going on, but my body, I can tell my body's like, what the fuck's happening? Get some food in us.
Yeah.
Like, and it's in this different state.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of like, it kind of feels in a way like spiritual to be like, no, I'm in control of the body, and I feel so separate to my body at the moment because like my body wants food so much, and mentally I'm just going, no, I'm just fasting. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
And it really, I feel so separate from my body.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. It's just like, it's like nothing else.
How do you feel coming back to eating food? Like, how do you feel when you break the fast?
Good. It's kind of emotional.
Yeah.
You're eating food. You're like, oh, this is the fucking best. And you appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like last time I was like, I'm always going to appreciate food and I'm never going to like abuse it and like, all this stuff. And then in time, like you start just not again. But I'm looking forward to just, got to eat certain foods when you're coming off, like easy digestible food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just come back.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in it. Like I feel like I'm kind of out. I'm out of reality at the moment. Like I'm in the fast. I'm out of reality. It's really weird.
Yeah.
When you eat, it's like it takes this time and you start coming back and coming back and coming back. But
does it affect your focus much? Like so like if you were in a period of your life where you're like working a lot, like you've got a big film job or
I'm writing a script at the moment.
Yeah.
And I can sit down and work on it. It's fine, but I feel dyslexic. Like I'm probably getting heaps of words spelled wrong. Yeah. I'm rereading it. I'll read the line. I go, what did I just write? And then I'll read it again. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I read it the third time. I'm like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like it is fine, but I'm like, I'm just not. I don't know. I'm just a bit spacey.
Yeah.
But it's good. Have you ever done one?
No, never done one.
You think you will?
Maybe. I think you're slowly convincing me. Yeah. It's honestly something I've never really considered. Yeah. I haven't looked into it.
I can send you some like videos where like they just sum up why and the benefits, and you see them and you'll think to yourself, oh, at least it will 48 hour or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure like nothing's on. Like you don't have like an event you got to go to or perform or.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's hard to focus. Like it's hard to. It's not hard to focus, but it's hard to like. Everything just feels like an effort. Like I went for a walk yesterday, a 6K walk, and it fucking felt like I'd done 15Ks. I was just cooked.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, so what's next for the band? You're doing a tour, doing more music.
Yeah. Well, more singles this year and the album, and yeah, we're gonna do a run of shows in like March or something, and then probably a full country tour for the album around like I don't know, like June or July or something.
Where will you go?
Do Brisbane for sure. Mm-hmm. Brisbane's got a great music scene, especially for like alternate music. Melbourne too, like Melbourne's obviously Melbourne's great for all sorts of music. Like Newey, obviously, like Sydney, Wollongong as well. We've got a bit of a following in Wollongong too.
Yeah, so nice.
Got a bunch of friends down there. Canberra's cool. Canberra's got like a good Canberra's got a good, really DIY music scene at the moment. So, like, last time I played in Canberra, I met this guy who's, like, they're, like, running all ages shows and they're just, like, doing them either in, like, someone's backyard or, like, I think they said they're doing one in, like, a stormwater drain. Like, real, like, underground stuff. But, like, kids are rocking up to them. Like, they're getting, like, 100 to 200 kids per show and it's just fucking in someone's, like, lounge room or something.
Really?
You know? And that's, like, I love that stuff. Like, I love house shows, like, you know, all DIY stuff. All ages shows too are great. Like, when I was coming up in Newcastle, like, when I was 16, 17, like, playing in bands then, we had a really good all ages venue, Hombre Records. Before that, it was White's Records. It was all the same building. And then after that, it was called Drone. But it's like every Friday, Saturday night, sometimes weekday shows, there'd be bands playing, like, you know, and people were just coming to every gig. Like, it was very rare that there wouldn't be many people at a show. And then it just got this rep behind it that, like, oh, this is, like, the cool place to play in Newcastle. And, like, you know, the venue started getting, like, international bands through all the time. Like, I remember seeing Polaris. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, they played there in, like, maybe 2014 or something to, like, 60 people. And now they're, like, yeah, they're massive. I think last time they played in Newcastle, they played to, like, 2,000 people. And
Really?
They, like, headline, like, you know, 10,000 cap festivals in Europe and
Hectic.
all that shit. Like, they're basically they're probably, like, the biggest heavy music export out of Australia since Parkway Drive. And I saw them play, like, on the floor, not even on a stage, to, like, 60 people, like, 10 years ago.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So I think, like, you know, I'm really excited to see more of those kind of events popping up around the country because they just harvest such a good environment for local musicians.
Mm-hmm. So when you're going on tour, who plans, like, do pubs or venues contact you guys and be like, we've got to do this? Or do you just, like, submit, like, we're going to be here at these dates and if you have any slots, let us in? Or
Yeah, so the Lamphead, my other band, Lamphead, we did a tour last year that I organised, and honestly, just emailing venues in every different city and like, quite often they want you to give them dates first. You know, you can be like, oh, we're thinking somewhere between these 2 weeks of June. Mm-hmm. What dates do you have available?
and then do the venues pay you?
Sometimes you can get guarantees. Guarantees are great if you're an out-of-town band and you're trying to break into that city's market.
Yeah.
Guarantees are great because, you know, it guarantees that you can get a hotel room for you and your crew and your bit of petrol. But most of the time it's just a split from ticket sales.
Yeah.
Some venue, like,
It's just a split with the venue.
split with the venue. Sometimes they, excuse me,
Burping up that beer, brother.
yeah. Sometimes they have, like, a threshold, like, oh, you have to cover, like, X amount of dollars to pay the sound engineer and all that. So it really just depends on the venue.
Yeah. Are you with a label?
No, both independent.
Do you like being independent or do you want to be with a label?
It would honestly just depend on the label deals. Like, I have friends that have been on labels, and I've heard good stories. I've heard great stories, and I've heard, like, horror stories about being on labels. Like, I'm not gonna name names, but, like, I've heard of labels, like, pushing. You know, a band that was on a label wrote their next EP after they got signed. The label pushed it back because they didn't like the songs, or they wanted to push.
What?
They wanted to push a certain image with the band, and then they wrote another one, and then, like, it got pushed back again. So, and then I hear horror stories of labels being like, you know, we're going to take 80% of the money you make, and that leaves the band with fucking nothing. Like,
yeah, hectic.
So, and then there's some labels that are more like they don't take much of a cut of what you make, and it's more of a promotional help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can get you on better gigs, get you, you know, raise your chances of getting radio play, distribute physical versions of your recordings.
Is that a thing still?
Like physical distribution.
Like CDs and stuff, or like?
I mean, like, you know, labels will still put them out. Vinyl's more popular. Like,
Where are they putting it out? Like, are they like distributing through like JB Hi-Fi and stuff, or they just sell them online?
Yeah, a lot of the time online. Like, there's a few like record stores around that it's distributed to. Like, I think we've got 2 record stores here. We've got Rudderless Records and Hiss and Crackle Records, and they're like, even if you're a local band and you're independent, you can give them. I'm not sure if it's like this at Rudderless, but it is at Hiss and Crackle. You can just give them a few of your records and be like, do you want to just put them in the shop and then, you know, take a bit of a percentage for yourself because you're selling them.
Do you just have records?
We are gonna get vinyls for Deadmore.
Do you can you set that up on like a vinyl on demand, or do you got to buy like 1,000 of them and get them all made up and then try to sell them?
Yeah, so that's the thing with vinyl is it's expensive to make, and the profit margin raises as you buy more. So like if you buy if you get 50 vinyls
it's
made,
expensive.
You're making fuck all per one. But if you get 500 made, you're making significantly more.
But you got to buy 500 up front.
Yeah, then the overhead is obviously significantly higher. So
But the sound's so good.
Yeah. So we've got vinyl masters there. We'll probably get. I think we'll do a short run to start and then see what the interest is like. Mm-hmm. Because it is, you know, like as an independent artist, your band kitty, like the money you have for the band is like precious. You know, there's so much to pay for. There's, you know, luckily we don't have to pay for like mixing and stuff. We pay for mastering and that, but you know, music videos, like fuel to get to shows, like buying merch to sell merch. Like, you know, there's a lot to pay for. So there's a lot to weigh up in that regard.
Mm. Do you sell like merch and stuff?
Yeah. So, Rory, our singer from Deadmore.
Is Rory your singer?
Rory?
Yeah.
Do you know Rory?
I know Rory.
Rory Burns.
Rory's in another band.
Jacob.
Do
you know Rory?
I've shot music videos for Jacob.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rory is housemates with one of my good mates. Yeah.
What's your good mate?
Aiden.
Oh, yeah. I haven't met him.
Aiden and Stu. So Stu's the drummer.
Yeah. Oh, no way. Yeah,
right. And do you know who was the other band? Rory. I shot the music video for Rory and for Jacob.
Yeah. What song was that for?
The music video, they're dressed as like dolls. You know, one of the puppet dolls.
What one's that? I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I don't know. I like the song. It's really good. Yeah.
Sounds very Rory Burns, Jacob spec.
Yeah. Have you seen there's a music video for another band, I forget the name. It was years ago. And Rory's a vampire in the band. Have you seen it in the music video?
For a different band.
What's his partner's name? Maisie?
Yeah, Maisie.
So he's like, Maisie's dead and he's a vampire and he's like bringing her around to a party and like introducing her to all the friends and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like dancing and like he turns it on. It's so funny.
Yeah. So Rory's, I remember I talked to you on the phone yesterday. Rory is coming in next week to do his like solo electronic music album.
Yeah, nice.
Thing. I didn't realize you two knew each other.
So is he going out on his own?
No, it's just like a side project for him.
Yeah, nice.
So,
yeah, tell him.
Yeah. Just get him on the pod.
Yeah, bloody hell. Get him on the pod.
It'd be keen, I reckon, too.
Yeah. He's a funny dude, eh?
Yeah. No, he's good. He's a good egg.
Yeah.
Super creative guy.
Yeah. About creativity, what is there like a process you go through or for yourself?
In terms of writing songs, I used to prefer the approach of like basically writing like a song at home and, you know, programming out the drums, playing all the guitar parts in. But these days I kind of prefer, honestly, I write better riffs and stuff when I'm just sitting on the couch. My guitar's not even plugged in and I'm just like I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just noodling. And then I find something and then I find something and make a riff out of that, and then I can make other riffs that work with that, and then, okay, you've got 3 or 4 different bits that work together. Does this feel like a chorus? Does this feel like a verse? Does it feel like a bridge, breakdown, rah, rah, rah? But I find, like, over the last year or two, I'm writing things I like a lot more when I'm just kind of not
trying to write.
It's more subconscious, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do it when I'm writing. Like, I feel like I just kind of open up. I kind of feel like I'm just the vessel and it just kind of comes.
Yeah. Rather than like sitting, like if I'm like sitting down, like I'm going to write, you know, a song that's really pretty and like, you know, it's going to have like really catchy melodies. Often that doesn't happen. Yeah. It's the same if I'm like, oh, I'm going to sit down and write like a 2-minute punk song banger. It's going to be heaps heavy and energetic. Like usually I think it's all quite mediocre.
Yeah.
When I do that, rather than when I'm just like pick up the guitar and just literally just fuck around.
Let it be.
Fuck around and and find out.
Yeah. That's
when I write the best stuff.
Yeah, man. What bands like inspiration for you?
Different per project. Like Deadmau5's like, you know, take a lot of influence from like a band called Drug Church from the US. Every Time I Die as well, another US band. Turnstile as well. Like I think the Turnstile is like, they used to be like, you know, hardcore punk through and through. And like as they've wrote more albums, they've added in more like electronic elements, like more singing. And it's kind of, you know, we kind of take that approach where like, we're like a punk band and we get lumped in like the hardcore punk scene, but also at the same time, we kind of don't fit in that as well. Like I like when bands kind of fit in a pocket, but they're not like kind of stuck in there. You know, like especially on this album we've got coming out, like we've got like fucking like DJ scratches on songs. Like we've got like breakdowns that have like, they're just like got electronic elements behind it. It's like, this isn't a breakdown anymore. This is like a dance section. Like,
really?
This is like a rave section.
Hectic.
Like we got like a song with like a barbershop quartet style like vocal. It's like, it's pretty like, the album's pretty all over the shop. Like we nearly had a bit of a like identity crisis when we finished it. Like,
really?
Where does this fit? But I prefer I prefer that.
Yeah.
I prefer when a band doesn't fit a particular genre or scene. Where it's a bit ambiguous.
Very nice.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Like when I make music, I want to make something I haven't heard before. I don't want to just make like a carbon copy of XYZ artists.
When you write an album, are the songs meant to be is the album meant to be listened to song after song in that order, or do you just write a bunch of songs and put them in the album? Like you specifically, because I was chatting with Sid. So Sid's a music composer that does a bunch of composing for my movies.
Yeah.
Fucking legend, bro. And he's like Spotify's going off. Like he's got millions of listeners every month.
Yeah,
like,
right.
He's really talented. But I didn't even know it. And I forget what we were doing, but we we're hanging out, and he said it like it was common knowledge that like albums, and he goes, oh, people don't, that's what he said. He goes, people don't listen to albums with their intent from start to finish anymore. And I said, is that a thing? And he goes, yeah, like normally like the songs in an order are like a bigger story. And I was like, wow, I just thought they were like in this period of time they're writing these songs and they're like, that's our album for summer, like type thing. Like that's where they're at this time, but not like this song is setting up this song and this song set, and it's like each song is a journey. Do you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, with the album Lamphead put out last year, like we were, and it's the same with Deb, more so with Lamphead's album, I think we had like 30 songs, demos, and we're like, okay, these are the best ones. And then we're like, right, so if this is the album, if we've got 6 or 7 songs now, how are we going to structure this in a way that people aren't going to get bored listening the whole way through? Like on that album, we've got like, you know, basically like a country emo song. We've got like hypnotic songs. We've got like heavier songs. So like, okay, when we had like the 6 or 7 ones we were definite on, we looked at it and went, all right, so if this is the order, what are we missing in the album? Like, are we missing some slower songs? Do we need more fast songs? Like, how are we going to keep people engaged? You know, and where are these songs going to fit in the track listing order? So that's more of a, because, you know, people's attention is fried. Like everyone's got fucking brain rot these days. Like it's hard to keep people to listen to your album for 30 to 40 minutes.
Attention's like just getting
a lot
so
of people
shorter.
get like a few songs in and then they're like, oh, I might just go listen to something else. Like, because there's so much available at, you know, your fingertips, right? So it is tricky to calculate your album so that people remain engaged the whole way through.
I guess like, and also like I wouldn't ever put that back on the album and like if it's keeping engagement or not. Like for me, I'll listen to a band, but if I'm only going for a half an hour drive or a 20-minute drive and the album keeps going, like I'll just get out of the car. Like I don't, like it's also finding the time to listen to all that.
Yeah.
Like I don't, like in the house, I don't listen to music.
Yeah.
Like if I'm at home, like I'm watching a movie, I'm having dinner, I'm trying to chill out, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not like sitting there just giving time to listen to music. I listen to music when I'm running, when I'm in the gym, when I'm driving in the car, at parties, if we're having beers out the back or something, I'll play some music, but I don't like, so it's like also finding the time to listen to that music. So, I don't know, like I guess I wouldn't, you can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't feel as if like if your whole album wasn't being listened to, like that's a reflection on the engagement level or what you guys are putting in.
Well, that's another thing too, is like, you know, I'll quite often do this when I listen to other artists' albums. Like I'll listen to the first half because I'm driving to work or I'm cleaning the house or and I just do, you know, I get to a point in my day where okay, do the next thing, and I'm not sitting there. You know, like how often do people just sit in a room with no other stimuli and listen to an album from front to back? Like, I don't really know.
I don't know if I know anyone that does that.
Yeah. I do it if it's an album I'm really excited for. I'm still probably checking my phone here and there throughout. But
I reckon my partner does.
Yeah. But it's very much a minority of people that are doing that.
It's funny. Like, I guess a lot of people just put them on for like, I'm cleaning the house or play some music in the background.
Yeah.
Like, they like the music for sure, but it's not like their intent to sit here and go, like, I'm going to appreciate it and just sit here and listen. Like, I feel like people that have record players and have collections, they would do that. They'll sit and have a wine and just sit there. And like, but that's like a hobby. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's like a different breed of music listener.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, eh? Like, because you don't, like, well, I've never really thought about that too much. Like, because You know, you put the radio on. It's just like, it's just feel good. But I've never really thought of it like sitting there, just sitting and listening.
Yeah, it's like, it's so different to, you know, writing a song is writing a song, but then writing an album is just like a whole different beast. And it's so much work. Like it's.
I think like it's with all them things, like with writing, with listening, I think like just finding the time to just sit and do the thing. Like it's so good to be like, because I'm writing a script at the moment. I've just finished the next draft, and writing is great, but just like, I don't schedule in time to sit down and write it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I'll go, oh, yep, I'm just going to sit. I've got a couple of lines and I start. Then all of a sudden fucking time gets past and I've missed the next thing I was going to do and I'm late and it just absorbs me, and that's good. And I try to go with that when I can.
Yeah.
But also then like 3 weeks can just pass. I'm like, fuck, I haven't written anything else in a while.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to like find the time to just sit because the world's so fast and so busy and all these things.
Discipline yourself to sit down and go, okay, this 2-hour chunk of my day is for writing. Do you find when you write, like if you're booking in a chunk of time to do that, do you find that's better doing it first thing in the morning, or like a lot of the time I prefer to like book in time to write at the end of the day, because if the ideas are flowing, I want to be able to keep going. Whereas if the ideas are flowing and then it's like, fuck, I got to go to work. Like,
yeah, so I book in a day. So if I go like, so I've got a bit of a funny ritual that I do with it, but let's just say like Sundays I'm going to write. I'm just going to write all Sunday. I have a cigar. I love me cigars.
Yeah,
so I'll have like I'll have a swim, and I'll have a swim so I feel fresh, and I just like, yep, sweet. I'm just sitting there and I have my cigar, and while I'm having a cigar, ideas flood me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's nicotine or I'm just turning down for a second. I'm just turning off and just not being engaged with all this fast media and content.
Yeah.
I'm just actually just having a moment where I'm sitting, I'm watching the trees just sway and I'm watching the smoke come off the cigar and I can relax.
Yeah.
And ideas just flood me. And then after that, I'll just jot down all the ideas. I'm just having a cigar, just jot them down. And then before I can even finish it, because they normally last about an hour, I'm just keen, I'm revving, I'm ready to go and put it into the script.
Yeah. I guess it's like, like different to like having a cigarette that lasts 5 minutes. Is like the cigar lasts an hour. So it's nearly like meditation really.
Yeah.
At that point.
Legit.
You know?
Yeah. Me and my partner were just in Japan. I was like, fuck, it was like 2 years ago now. No, it wasn't. It was last December. But it was like, we went to this bar, and we were sitting there, and I was having a whiskey and having like some late night desserts. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and it's freezing. It's like it was their winter.
Yeah, winter, yeah.
And just as we're about to leave, I'm finishing up. This guy just rips out a cigarette and starts smoking. I was like, "Oh, you allowed to smoke in here?" Because heaps of like cafes you can smoke inside.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So I'm like, "I'll go grab a cigar. Alex, stay here." So I ran across the road, grabbed a cigar, come back, and just like lit it up. And there was like, the way that it was, there was like this little light that was hanging over us. It was real dark, dim lit, like all the jazz music was playing, like small little cafe bar thing you'd call it. Has maybe like 6 people could sit there. Old bloke sitting there smoking his cigarette, reading the newspaper. Like it was just this scene, eh?
Yeah.
And just smoking it, and everything just slowed right down. And because we were still inside, like the smoke doesn't just evaporate, it sits and just moves and sways. Like you'll see it under the light. It was like highlighting it, and you like we were both watching it. It was just like hypnotic, and bro, it just slowed right down. And then the snow's outside, just coming. Like you'd look out the window and it just starts snowing. Like just because you talk about meditation, I just felt like you're just in this trance, this moment. Like time just stops.
Yeah.
And you're just in it, and it's just so. I don't know. It's not. It's like a nice way to just turn off and just be present and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, I've been talking to a lot of people in Newcastle in the music scene, and everyone speaks so highly of you. You're a fucking wizard. Well, I want to know how you got this name, but also how did you just come into mixing?
How did I come into it?
Yeah, like how did it all come about?
Well, I started like when I was a teenager, just like trying to play in bands and stuff. Like, I wanted to see what my songs sound like, so I started demoing out songs. Got my first interface when I was like 16, and it didn't make anything that sounded very good, to be honest. But just did that, and then my first band recorded. Then I just like fell in love with that process. So did TAFE course, like did an internship up in Sydney.
What was the TAFE course?
I think it was like advanced diploma of creative industries, majoring in sound production.
And do they teach you like Pro Tools and stuff?
Yeah, teach you Pro Tools, like teach you a bit of live sound and that. And then like I met a lot of people because I started working in live sound. Mm-hmm. So you're I'm meeting like 4 different bands a night. So that was a good way to just get my name out there in the music scene. Like I was just meeting so many new people all the time, and as I was doing that, like I was producing bands, doing it pretty cheap, and like started out just doing it for mates and stuff, and then gradually my name got thrown in the bucket for other bands more and more, and then now I'm kind of at a point where it's like I'm mainly just producing music and doing live sound a bit here and there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I love meeting new people. Like that's the great thing about music is like I'm so grateful for making so many friends through. Mm-hmm.
It's a community, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm seeing it more. Like Newcastle's got a solid music community.
Yeah, the cool thing about Newcastle is like I feel like all the bands are in the same community regardless of like genre. So there's like kind of like little pockets here and there. Like here's like the punk bands, here's the hardcore bands, here's like the indie bands, but it's not like it's everyone's in their own pocket and doesn't play shows with other bands.
Is Sydney like that, where it's like they've got to stick in their lane?
I feel like Sydney's a bit more cliquey, but like I haven't really played that much. I've played a few gigs in Sydney, but like,
what about the US? Like, do you want to go on tour over there? You got an audience over there?
Yeah, 100%. Our genre is like more popular over there than it is here. Same with like Japan. Like Japan's great to tour.
Bro, when I was in Japan, I was going to all these thrift shops in
like Shimokitazawa. Because I went like I must have gone a couple months before you, like
in
October,
Tokyo.
October 2023. I went.
Yeah, I was in November.
Yeah,
2023.
Yeah. All the thrift shops is crazy good.
Crazy, yeah. So in Tokyo, there's, what's the main square with the big crossing?
Shibuya crossing.
And then there's Harajuku. Did you go there?
Yeah.
That's where all the thrift shops were that I went to, and I was in there and just like these songs were playing, and I was just shazamming every fucking second song. Yeah. Some of the music and bands that I listen to now, they're like in America, they've got like heaps small like listens. They're not big or anything. And I was like, I found them because I was in the thrift shops in Japan.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. I went to a show in Japan. It was like a math rock Midwest emo show, like very much like Lamphead style music. And I just went there on my own. And then like rocked up there and like it's a few English speaking people so I was like having a ciggy with them, like just like being like, yeah, fucking what's going on, like from Aussie, and this guy was like, oh yeah, I used to like live in Canberra and played in bands. He's like, what band did you say you're in again? I was like, oh, Lamphead and Deadmau5. He's like, Deadmau5, Rory's band. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I did not fucking expect that like we'd have all these mutual. And then he like knew all like he knew every member of Deadmau5 basically. And like, we worked out we had heaps of mutual friends. He's like from Malaysia but lived in Australia for like 10 years or whatever.
That's so cool.
But like, I mean, even just like at the gigs and like the kind of, like I've still got the CD in my car. So my car, someone went through my car the other day and they didn't take anything, but I thought they took this one CD that I bought for like $5 off this like math rock. This Japanese math rock band just fucking like blew me away. And that, they've got like The CD is not even on Spotify. Like, it's on Bandcamp, but like,
Really?
I can't just like listen to it on my phone right now.
Yeah.
And I saw them at the show. I'm like, this is just like a local band, and they're just like fucking incredible. Like, this is like the cream of the crop for this genre. I was like talking to them at the show, and like very broken language barrier conversation. I have that CD. I'm like, this CD is like fucking awesome. And then someone went through my car, and I think they, how like people go through cars and like just throw stuff around.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I was like, God damn it. Like, I'm so upset that this CD is gone. Like, my partner was there at the time, and she's like, oh, I can't find it. I was like so upset that I'd lost this like CD from this band with like, 200 followers over there, Did
you get it back?
I found it was like under a seat or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, the music scene over there is incredible, hey.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. And I noticed every venue is like really good. Like if it's a 100 cap room, 200 cap room, like it's good PA, it's good lighting gear. There's like good lighting and sound operator, which is rare. Like those sort of venues here, like the sound guy's doing it all and he's just kind of doing lights at the same time as well.
I think just
the standard's a bit higher. I think,
but with everything, like they just take so much more effort in their craftsmanship, in how they do things.
Yeah.
Like the food, the parks, the streets, everything's so nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's an incredible place.
Yeah.
Incredible place. Like, such a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you want to wrap it up there? Do you want to just talk about where people can hear music, what they should search, what the album's called?
Yeah. Can search up Lamphead on Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, all that stuff, YouTube. Our album Ikigai came out last year. Check that out. And Dead Mall, we just put it out today, our first song off the new album, Gasoline. So yeah, search that up. Dead Mall Gasoline on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to music and watch music videos, it's all on there.
It's all there. Fuck yeah.
Sick. Thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks,
it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Cheers.
Cheers.